Well, I was lucky enough to get to watch the pilot after I found out that the show had been picked up, and I just thought it was so appealing on so many levels. I thought the humor was really funny, the cast was extraordinary, it was very smart, but then it had the added bonus of all the animals, and I thought, well, that's kind of covering all bases, and it's really one of those things that I feel like will appeal to a broad audience, and I was just excited about, I'm an avid animal lover. And so I was excited about working with animals and then doing a really smart comedy, which is something that any comedy actress prays for. Animal practice is, I would say, House meets Scrubs, and but really with an incredibly colorful cast. A little edgy, a little bit sarcastic, but a lot of heart. And that's what I love about Dorothy, my character, is I feel like she brings a little bit of that pep into the place, reinvigorating things a little bit, reorganizing things, if you will. I played Dorothy Crane, a girl from the Upper East Side in Manhattan. My grandmother was a very wealthy woman who created this animal hospital along with Dr. Coleman, and she passed away and now has left it to me. And I get the honor of coming in and trying to kind of organize it, if you will, because it's obviously a great place for animals to come to get well, but not necessarily as organized as it could be. So I also have a history with Dr. Coleman. We dated a few years ago. It didn't end well. We both have very different versions of why that happened, but I think it'll be a fun little, reconnecting of an old lost love. And one thing I love about Dorothy is that she's really up for the challenge, and she really respects Dr. Coleman a lot. She knows that he's a really great doctor, a great vet, and that he does a great job on that end, which is the most important part of this. But there is a sort of, the everyday kind of organization that needs a little help, and that's what I love, that Dorothy's coming in and kind of ready to take this over. And I also, Dr. Coleman kind of unhinges me a little bit, and it's kind of fun to play someone that has that little bit of a mystery, a little twinkle there. It's fun. Dr. Coleman and Dorothy dated a few years ago, and we both have very different ideas of how it ended and why it ended. And you sort of learned about that in the first episode. But there definitely still is a pretty strong connection there. I think one of the things that I loved so much about the idea of doing this show was sort of that will they, won't they, and that sexual tension. And it's like, for some reason, there's always those people that aren't the best people for you, but the people that kind of get under your skin and kind of push your buttons, and you're a little weak around. But on the flip side, you know them so well, so there's a strength that comes from that. And I love that. And Justin and I have a lot of fun together when we work, and we have a great banter. So it's nice to see that our friendship translate onto the screen and kind of add that whole element of like that sort of torrid past. Strangely enough, he has incredible bedside manner with the animals, but the people are the things that he struggles with the most. And I think Dorothy has a real strong understanding of that because she had a relationship with him. And so she respects him tremendously on a professional level, but understands his weaknesses and how they sort of translate into the actual day-to-day running of the hospital. And so I think that their history informs that her ability to kind of navigate and really pinpoint what she needs to do immediately upon arrival. I mean, it's not hard to see that the waiting room's a mess and people have been waiting forever, and there needs to be a little bit more organization on the sort of the business side of things. But I also think that the one thing I love is that Dorothy really thinks that, George is an excellent veterinarian, and something that I think her grandmother saw in George, and that to me is really sweet.